Thank you. So thank you, Prisoner Rome and Nasia. The first thing that we are going to be talking about is a chart actually that I will be sharing with you that shows the needed versus actual added housing units in California. We as realtors know that housing production is of utmost importance. Really, it lies in uh, the bullpit of the problems that we have in California. So we'll be talking about that shortly. And as of last night, we have the Glendale homeless count. This is something that I'll share with you, of course, with a grain of salt. We will be discussing the debt ceiling and the effects on real estate. But having said that, I don't want to alarm you because never in the history of the United States we've never had issues with the raising the debt ceiling and or the negotiations with this. But nonetheless, I have to share with you what CAOR sent to me, which is pretty clever and pretty incisive. And then, of course, we are going to be talking about RPR and local economic reports. And this stems from the meeting that we had at LGLR that some of our members wanted for us to share how to put this reports together to augment your listings or your buyer reports to your clients. Always and always, you would need to check with your broker and your office to see if this is something that they will be interested in including in your for you to include in your listings. But with that, we'll go forward right now. The chart that you see is sourced by the California Department of Finance, but it was put together by Cal Matters, and it's a pretty interesting chart. The bar, the turquoise bars that you see are the bars that shows the production of housing in California from 1983 to about 2022. What I'd like to do is to show you that the actual units in 2023 are projected to be 123,000 units. In other words, by the end of the year, we will end up having brand new actual units of about 123,000 units. What I'd like to do is now to show you that even though this is not a huge improvement, nonetheless, it is an improvement. When we look at 2019 to 2022, we have gone up, I would say, handsomely as far as units produced units are concerned. But let's look at what experts have to say about this and what their projections are. For example, the LAO, or Legislative Accounting Office, says that by 2023, California, or 2026, California needs to have 148,000 units produced every year in order to even keep up with the shortage as well as the population growth, which, by the way, is not as high as we all think. HCD, which stands for Housing Community Development, the 2018 projection was that by 2025, we need to have 180,000 units per year produced in order to have most or the majority of the population housed. Same projection was produced in 2016 by HCD at 220,000 units, right? HCD, by the way, Housing Community Development Units, is a state of California unit organization. And then, of course, again, HCD back in 2022 projection, and this is pretty much in line with our Newsom's projections, said that we really need about 312,000 units produced in California starting 2025. Of course, we're all familiar with McKinsey report. Realtors and any CAOR has depended on that Their point of view was that we need to up 350,000 units starting 2019 in state of California. So regardless of how you look at all these figures, all these numbers, and when you compare it to our actual production, we're either a little bit short, right, from 148,000, or a lot short from 350,000 and or 312,000 that the state projected that we need. And hence, that is the problem, by the way. When you see rental increases or rental rates going up, when you see prices going up, right? This is in one chart actually showing you where the problem lies. If we look historically, only about 4 or 5 times, and that is mid 1980s, right? That we have surpassed the 200 or 220,000 units produced in the state of California. From there on, our production dropped, as you can see here, and it went up a little bit, but it dropped again, 2007 recession and so forth. Now we are on the up and up side with that. Let's talk about Glendale homeless count summary that was presented to the city council last night. According to the city of Glendale, we've had 13% decrease in our homeless population. Word of caution, this is a point in time accounting of our homeless population. Back in January 26th of 2023, volunteers went out and counted the number of the people that they would come across on the streets in city of Glendale, and the number that they came up with was 195 people, right? This is where my cursor is at. Versus 2022, that was 225 people. Again, word of caution, this is a point in time accounting. While the city is required to do that by heart, it by no means, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of people, represents the actual numbers of homeless in the city of Glendale. In fact, the housing management information system, which is what the Glendale police uses to chronicle and record the contacts with homeless folks in the city of Glendale, shows a number of 289. And by the admission of the city itself, we serve hundreds more as far as our continuum of care is concerned in the city of Glendale. But take it away as you will. This is a number, and that while cannot be depended on 100%, but it gives you a snapshot of what is going on in the city of Glendale. Next, we want to talk a little bit about the debt ceiling. Again, I do not want to alarm anyone because never in the history of United States negotiations has not resulted. Usually they end up negotiating it. And as you know, debt ceiling is the limit that the Congress puts and on the Treasury and the amount of money that the Treasury can borrow. We have never defaulted on our debt in the United States, and that's important. But it has spooked the markets, and we want to look at it from the point of view of real estate, right? How would it affect in the unlikely manner that debt ceiling is not negotiated? How would it affect real estate, our business, our industry? This is a chart that is put together by California Association of Realtors by our political economist, Mr. Mike Falk, and very clever and very incisive. So let's get started with that. If the government defaults, the debt yields on the Treasury bonds will go up, period. That's a given fact. When that happens, uncertainty really creates a whole lot more spike in bond yields and mortgage yields and so forth, right? When that happens, basically because federal government is 34% of the GDP. For example, we as realtors in state of California, we contribute about 16% of the gross domestic product that is produced in California. Federal government is 34% of the economy. When they have to lay off people, it increases the unemployment rate. In turn, that creates a situation that the government can pay its debts. Again, this is in case if no agreement has reached by June 1st. And that causes a increase in mortgage rates, in bond rates again, and so forth. In fact, Zillow thinks that if we do not have a deal soon, we will bump the unemployment to about 8.4% from the 3.5% that we are in nationally right now. And the mortgage rates would pass 8.4%. This is a doomsday scenario. Again, do not be alarmed because history is on the side of the negotiations and some sort of a deal will be made. And we know, as a matter of fact, that the United States government has never defaulted on its debt. Now, all of these means that we are going to have higher rates, higher mortgage rates, and so forth. And some, according to California Association of Realtors, think that that would cut in sales will decline by about 25%. Again, a doomsday scenario, so do not be very concerned about it. I think we will have a negotiations, at least most experts think that we will have the negotiations as we go forward. Next, I want to talk about how to put together, and this is going to be a very short segment, folks. Most of you may already know this. Again, talk to your broker and to your office and see if they want you to use this feature of RPR. And you can go to narrpr.com to be able to use this feature. What is the feature? To augment your listing or buyer reports, maybe it's time for us to put demographics and economic salient points, or even by zip code or city, anywhere in the United States, right? It will give a clearer idea to your buyer and or seller what they're competing against, what the market is on that micro zip code level, so to say, right? And what I'd like to do now is to go to that presentation, and let's see if we can find this. Okay. Do you see my on the screen, the RPR screen, or not yet? Do you?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So when you log into RPR, narrpr.com, this is what will come up. And if you have put in your information and so forth, it will automatically brand every report that you will produce, and which is pretty cool. Now, what I want to do, I've produced a few reports, but I will go into a couple of them that I think would help you a lot. And again, talk to your broker about it. If we go on the research side, right? And if you were to go to residential market trends and you press on that tab and enter a zip code, it doesn't matter what it is, or it could be the entire city of Glendale. I will put the entire city of Glendale, right? And it's not Glendale, it's Glendale, right? And then you will see a drop box, and you press on Glendale, California, and this is what you will see on your screen. It will give you key metrics on single family plus condo. And by the way, you can bifurcate this single family alone, and then when it asks you to apply to all the charts, you press yes. So these are the numbers that RPR shows in the city of Glendale. Key details, months of inventory, list to sold price, median days, median sold price, and goes down to all kinds of charts, and you can follow the charts and change them the way that you want, median list price, total volume, and so forth. So this is the market trends part of it. Now imagine if you will couple this, the market trends report, and again, you can go back, oh, by the way, and then you can do this for condominiums, right? And for, again, apply to all charts. So the median price of the condominiums in City of Glendale that has sold and so forth. Now, if you were to couple this, and this time we will go to the reports tab, right? Let's see if we can find the neighborhood report. If you were to couple the market trends with neighborhood report, you will have two awesome reports that your clients can depend on. Neighborhood report will go up. I've already produced one, for example, for City of Glendale, and I'll just press on this thing as opposed to going to a new report. I press on Glendale. And this gives you the demographics of the city. It could be by zip code. It could be any which way that you envision for the report to be. You can actually draw on the map and for an area and get the same report accordingly for that area. On the City of Glendale, it gives you neighborhood housing stats. Again, median estimated values, median sales price, neighborhood report and median listing price, price range of comps sold, right? Neighborhood report, size of home sold, age, range of comps sold, number of bedrooms, and then the characteristics, the people stats and charts, right? The population, the median age, a male or female ratio, density per square mile, and it goes to educational level. All the demographic information that you may need, right, is here. It's ready for you to incorporate in your listing or buyer reports as you and your broker see fit. Presidential voting patterns, right? Most of them in Glendale is 69% Democrat versus 27% Republicans. And neighborhood economic stats, right? Income per capita, labor force number, and so forth. And one of the things that I use a lot, by the way, is the occupational report. Which category occupies the most people, right? And for example, in real estate, rental and leasing, this is our industry. According to the report, there are 2,774 people that are in the business of real estate, rental, and leasing. We are included in that tab. Quality of life stats, average commute time. Why is this important? Because it will give you, I don't know if you've heard or know the concept of super commuter, and that is a person that commutes more than 90 minutes per day. And there is a lot of work that is being done in order to intensify density in urban areas so they can cut down on that time of travel. If you look at City of Glendale, 36% of us travel between 15 and 30 minutes to make it to the work and back to work, back to home. These are the stats that your client may want to ask. And by the way, this would apply to a zip code. If you do the report by a zip code, your client may want to give you an address and say, ask you about the traffic and how long it would take for him or her to go back to work and so forth. These are the kind of stats that would help you in that matter. And of course, livability index and so forth. So this is something that you can all use, of course, if it is accepted by your broker. And I think, Madam President, that concludes my short report.